The fluorescent lights of the supermarket cast a harsh, colorless glow over everything, making even ordinary faces look tired. It was 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, and the store was nearly empty, just a few people grabbing forgotten items while exhausted cashiers waited for closing time. David Matthews stood in the express lane, holding a bottle of scotch and a frozen dinner. It was the same routine he had followed for the past 18 months. At 43, David was the CFO of a large manufacturing company. His suit was expensive, his watch even more so, and from the outside he looked like a man who had everything. Inside, however, he felt completely hollow. His wife Rebecca had passed away a year and a half earlier after a short and brutal battle with breast cancer. They had never been able to have children, but they had been enough for each other. After her death, his beautiful house felt more like a tomb. He had money and status, but no real sense of purpose. As the line moved forward, David noticed the young woman standing in front of him at the register. She held an infant in her arms, no more than a few months old, while a small girl around 3 years old stood beside her. The woman clutched a can of baby formula. "I'm sorry," she said softly to the cashier. "My card was declined. I need to return this." The little girl tugged at her mother's coat. "Mama, will the baby be hungry?" "We'll figure it out," the woman replied, though her voice trembled. Watching the scene, something inside David cracked. "Excuse me?" he said suddenly. "Please let me pay for the formula and whatever else you need." The woman shook her head quickly. "I don't take charity." "This isn't charity," David said gently. "It's just one human helping another." The baby began to cry, and the mother's resistance faded. "Just the formula," she whispered. But David paid for more bread, milk, fruit, simple necessities. To him, the cost meant nothing. To her, it meant everything. Outside, the cold night air hit them as the woman headed toward the bus stop. David offered to drive her home. After a moment's hesitation, she agreed. Her name was Anna. Her daughters were Lily and Emma. She was a single mother who had recently lost her job, running out of money but not out of strength. David drove her to her small apartment, clean, modest, filled with children's drawings and quiet hope. Before leaving, he gave her his business card, and then a check that left her speechless. That night didn't just change Anna's life, it changed David's too. Over time, they stayed in touch. Then they became close. Then they became family. David gave the girls his name and his heart. Years later, as Lily prepared for college, she smiled at him in a supermarket aisle and said, "Dad, you weren't just a helper. You changed our lives." David knew the truth. That night he hadn't just saved them. They had saved each other. And sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the beginning of a whole new life. If this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe for kindness. K for kindness.